Okay, YouTubers, here's another video on converting the ubiquitous Chicago Electric flux core welder from Harbor Freight from alternating current to DC electrode negative. This is, like I said, it's quite a few videos on YouTube discussing how to do this, and just wanted to point out some of the changes that have occurred in the manufacture of this Harbor Freight welder. Now they call it a Flux 125, but I don't know if it puts out 125 amps. It's probably still 60 or 90, but it has changed. They've done some nice things with the manufacture of this compared to the ones I've seen on YouTube. First thing you notice when you open it up is that they've changed the fan. They've gone to a modular fan, which is pretty substantial looking, nice fan there, and I think it's going to push a lot of air. Also, I noticed that the transformer seems to be mounted further back, and it's on some kind of a rail system. It looks like you can just loosen up these rails and slide the transformer backwards or forwards, but I'm not sure about that. But it's in a good position over here. And the other thing I noticed is there is really a lot of room now inside this cabinet. On this side over here, you'll notice that they've also added, I believe, new vents to the bottom for better air circulation. And you've got plenty of room to work up here and put your rectifier. Let me get this out a second. Okay. I've got a 150 amp bridge rectifier, which I mounted to a heat sink. By the way, I made this heat sink by just bolting together some aluminum plates with aluminum gussets in between, and then I fastened the heat sink to it with the conductive heatsink grease, and cut a small hole in the top of the panel here using an electric Dremel drill and a cutoff wheel. That makes a nice installation. It drops in upside down. I'll just bolt it right through to the top here when I get ready to install it, and the rectifier will just sit upside down, and you've got a lot of room to pull wire from the other side over here. And if you wanted to, you could mount your capacitors over here. I'm probably going to use this area right here to mount this induction coil, which will be the last thing going out to the gun on this. Let me spin it around so you can see how much room there really is on this thing. Now, this is the other side, obviously. They've also moved the motherboard here, the control board, more to this side. And now I've got a capacitor sitting here. There's plenty of room on this side to mount the capacitors. You could stack several of them. The reason I haven't really hooked this whole thing up yet is because I've got this one 20,000 microfarad 100 volt capacitor, and I didn't think it was enough, so I ordered another 40,000 capacitor, microfarad capacitor. I'm going to hook these up in parallel. I'll probably just wire them together, stack them here, hook them up in parallel, and put them into the system. The other things I noticed that you got plenty of room over here. Here's the electrode wire coming down. I'm going to cut this up here because the wires that come off these two secondary leads coming off the transformer, these little white wires go to power the wire feed motor on the wire feed mechanism. I'm not going to change those right now. I'm going to leave those hooked up with the power coming off the controller over here. So I'm going to have to cut these up here. I'm going to cut the ground wire about here, splice wires on both sides, number 8 wire. I'll cut this up here, leaving this on the side, and run a number 8 wire over to the rectifier. And on this one, I'll run a number 8 wire to the rectifier. Then the part going out to the electrode the last thing that'll go on there will be the induction core, and then the wires will go to the capacitors and then back over to the rectifier. The thing that impressed me about it is that there is so much room in here to work that this should really be a piece of cake. I noticed in some of the earlier videos, the people were having trouble finding room, and they were bolting rectifiers on the outside of the unit, and not necessary. You can contain everything inside the original case. There's plenty of room to work with in here. Like I said, I got this about a month ago, and I'm no great welder, but I was able to stitch some things together with it. As an AC welder, wire feed welder, actually it worked pretty good. I mean, I didn't have any trouble laying down beads. Yes, there's a lot of spatter. I mean, it's a flux core welder, and you're going to get spatter and more because it's AC. And I'm hoping that the DC conversion will give me a little less spatter and perhaps some better penetration. But I'll let you know when I get this all finished, and I'll get back with another video and when I get it up and running. Okay.